All right, everyone, we are here for our first of many player episodes we're going to be doing with the team for Sideline Cancer. We are joined by returning member of Sideline Cancer, Mo Creek. Mo, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. It's always good when you get up for a new day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're back in Indiana now, right? I believe.
Yep, playing for the Medora Timberjacks.
And how did that come about?
Um, you know, they reached out to me before I was going overseas, and I took the overseas route, and then what happened in Mykolaiv, Ukraine, and I was back home. And I was just training and everything, and they reached back out. You know what I'm saying? Said their team needed some help trying to get into a playoff race and everything, and I just accepted the job, and now I'm here.
I love that, man. And I want to touch on the Ukraine piece. We're gonna hold off on that for a little bit because that is, from everything I hear, is a remarkable story. Just crazy, I think, is maybe the only way to really describe it. And obviously, a lot of feelings still kind of fresh. So we want to talk about that as much as we can. But I do want to start from the beginning. You spent 4 years playing for the Indiana Hoosiers before going to George Washington. You suffered quite a few injuries at Indiana. I want to touch on that. How did that shape you mentally and physically to the person you are today?
Um, it was draining at first, but then I just embraced it for what it was. Things happen in this game, and it's hard to kind of understand and realize that when you are a kid trying to make it to the NBA. But as you get older, you realize that some of these things help you be the person that you are today.
Absolutely. And so you might not know this about me, but I am actually a huge Iowa fan. So it would be wrong of me not to ask you, how terrible were those Todd Licklider teams at Iowa when you played them when you're in Indiana?
They were tough. I'm not gonna sit and lie. They've always been a tough team for us, um, home or away. They always had great talent. They always produce great talent, and they got a couple of people that are in the league.
Absolutely, man. Well, cool. Well, let's start talking a little bit about Sideline Cancer. You've been a part of the Sideline Cancer team for a few years now. Why Sideline Cancer? What made you originally decide to join Sideline Cancer?
Well, it was the year that I was in Finland. I think that was my third year as a professional overseas. Remy and Jermaine Marshall were playing on one team, the Helsinki Seagulls. And after our last game against each other, they just asked me to join, and I always wanted to play in the TBT. We had teams in Maryland that were in the TBT but didn't ever ask me to play. So, um, it was just a great opportunity to be around people that I know, good friends, good way to meet new people, and here we are now.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was something you wanted to be a part of, and the opportunity arose, and you kind of jumped on it, and the rest is history, as they would say.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so, what has been your favorite part about playing in the TBT?
Just how competitive it is. Basically, it's your one and done aspect. So, every time you're on the floor, you just want to give it your all, and you're gonna get everybody's best game. Even like looking at last year, we was the number one seed, and just looking at it, everybody was giving us their best game. There was no downfall to any team.
Yeah, and so it's been kind of an interesting rise for Sideline Cancer. You kind of put the team got put on the map when you made it to the championships a few years back. What has been how has that journey looked like seeing Sideline Cancer go from? 'Cause I remember actually watching Sideline Cancer down in Wichita, I believe 3 or 4 years ago, to the point now where you're a number one seed. How has the perception of the team changed? How has the mantra of the team changed in terms of competitiveness in TBT?
Well, it just reminds me a lot of how my IU college team was. We weren't known at first, and we didn't really. The first year that I played, we lost on our first game. We weren't on the map, but since Sideline Cancer was just one of them teams that actually just got in every year, and then as we started picking up talent, um, and started winning basketball games, we started getting notoriety that we were supposed to get from Jump Street. But um, we just worked our butts off to get to where we were, and that's why we are here where we at now as one of the top teams in the TBT.
Absolutely. And you mentioned obviously you love that one and done aspect. You've played in some college tournaments yourself. What is describe the differences between maybe a college tournament atmosphere and TBT, and whether or not you feel like one is better or the other?
I think they're just the same. Just you're gonna get everybody's best game. It's one and done, so you can't really slack around. You gotta give it your all every game. The time that you kind of slip up, that's the time you're gonna lose. And I think that's what a lot of the top teams don't understand is that you can't just underlook a team when you're playing in the NCAA tournament. You can't underlook a team when you're playing in the TBT. Because that's the time that you do is the time that you'll fail. And I like that. I like that everybody comes with their best effort, trying to get the best team possible for that money and or for a ring. You know what I mean? So it's basically same to me.
Absolutely. So one of the cool things about TBT, for those who haven't maybe watched the TBT religiously in the past, the Elam ending, and you see now in NCAA tournament games, the last 2 minutes can take anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes as people are taking timeout, timeout, timeout. What are your thoughts on the Elam ending? And do you feel like that would be an appropriate thing to maybe introduce into the college NBA game and maybe even the overseas game?
Yeah, I think it should be implemented everywhere, in every league. Just off the strength of everybody has a shot now. You could be up 20 points, but when that Elam ending hits, you gotta actually get to that number before somebody else does, and it doesn't matter no more. There ain't no time, no clock where you can just run it out and say, "Oh, I want a basketball game." You actually got to fight all the way through, and you gotta, what I'm saying, understand how it works. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are starting to understand it now, and that's why I think a lot of people, including myself, like the idea.
Absolutely. So tell me, what is your favorite memory? So we've talked a little bit about your favorite part of TBT, but what is your favorite memory in TBT?
I think it would be more so the shot against overseas elite that I hit. I don't think anybody projected us. I mean, other than the fans of probably Sideline Cancer, uh, to beat overseas elite, especially that how deep they were that year. Um, to have Joe Johnson, NBA vet, he was so tough to guard on that team. They had Frank Nitti on that team. He was tough to guard. Um, they had my one of my boys, Raphael Putney, on that team. Um, he's 6'10", small forward that can jump out the gym. It's just a lot. They Bobby Brown, NBA vet. Um, Pooh Jeter, he was, what I'm saying, he's a Ukrainian vet. And it had a lot of talent on that team. And, we were just upcoming from everything. And, to win that game, it kind of solidified who Sideline Cancer was.
Yeah, I got to let you in on a secret. You and Sideline Cancer winning that game won me a lot of money. So I just wanted to say thank you. Personally, I definitely appreciate that. The odds, I mean, it was like plus 400 or plus 500. And the way you guys have been playing in that tournament, I was like, there's a chance here. And overseas elite obviously looked good, but I was like, there's a chance if they have the last shot or they have an opportunity, they can get this W. So I definitely want to say thank you, my man. I owe you a beer at some point.
No problem, man.
Awesome. And what has been your favorite part about playing for Sideline Cancer?
It's just the family bond that we have. Not a lot of teams can say they have a family bond, and that's always gonna be family. It doesn't matter if I play another game for Sideline Cancer. They're always gonna reach out. They're always gonna help in some type of way. If they need me, they know they got me. Um, but it's always gonna be that family feel.
That's awesome, man. So let's turn our attention a little bit to your European career. You've played in quite a few different places: Ukraine, the Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Israel, Romania, and Finland. Did I miss any places?
Germany.
Okay, awesome. And out of all those places, what has been your favorite destination to play in?
I think Romania, to be honest, it's just the way they hoop, they run up and down. I mean, everywhere I've played at ran up and down, but it was just something about Romania. I had one of my good friends, Kenny Brown, with me. We went through a lot that year, but we learned a lot, and I think that was the reason why I picked Romania.
I love that. And you talked a little bit about running and stuff. The European game is different than the American game, and a lot of Americans don't realize the nuances that kind of come from the European game. What was the biggest difference in your mind making that jump to European ball?
Um, I didn't know what to expect at first, but as I got accustomed to the European game, I just understood that everything is about percentages. Um, they really look at that very tight, and they like to run. And some teams like to run, some teams don't. And you just got to understand what the team is about and how the team flows. It's not like the NBA where a lot of teams are just going up and down. You can find a team that wants to run a play every play, and it could be for you, it cannot be for you, and you'll never know because you know it's a Europe. You know what I'm saying? You just signing with a team that's either you kind of have known in the first place, or they giving you a high amount of money, or what I'm saying. You just never know what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the coach is like. You don't know nothing. You just going out there um, for the heck of it, and and it's really for your livelihood. So you got to really be locked in with it.
Yeah, and so actually, I remember doing my research. If I remember correctly, one of the teams you played for actually folded partway through the season, right?
Hmm.
Which team was that?
That was my first team. That was in the Netherlands. We were not doing well at first, and then we started winning basketball games, and we had just beat the number one team in that league, and they went bankrupt like maybe a week after. And we were upset about that because we felt like we had a chance to win the whole thing. We were just coming together as a team, and um, for me to win the whole thing as my in a rookie year, that'd have been great for me. But I had two other Americans that were uh, tops in scoring along with me, and my point guard was tops in assists. The other one was tops in rebounds. So it was just like we were just coming together, and for it to go bankrupt, I don't think it made any sense.
Yeah, that's always wild to me, and just kind of how that happens and comes to fruition so quickly. Um, so talking a little bit more again about that European game, what has been the coolest destination? Right, you enjoyed Romania from a playing perspective, but obviously I think there's so many things to see in Europe. What has been one of the coolest things you've seen? One of the coolest things you've done or been able to experience outside of basketball in Europe?
Um, I think it would be Ukraine, Kiev, Ukraine. At that, that city is just it feels like home to me because it looks like my city. You know, it has that city feel that a lot of places don't have, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the food spots. I had like a couple of spots that I just known off the strength of just being able to get out and enjoy life after what I'm saying
Yep.
while I'm playing basketball. So, yeah, Kiev, Ukraine.
And you've played, I believe, if I remember correctly, you've played a couple different seasons in Ukraine, correct?
Yep, 3 seasons.
And obviously, it sounds like you enjoyed going back to Ukraine. That's why you've chosen to go to Ukraine. It sounds like it can kind of be a couple different reasons why people are jumping around different spots in Europe. But you've chose to go back to Ukraine. Let's just get into it because I think that's a really interesting story. And first, very glad that you're able to be here, chatting with me back in America, and you're safe and sound. But I think what other people don't realize is that the people you're playing with, a lot of those guys are Ukrainian nationals, and a lot of Euro leagues, there's rules and restrictions on how many people can play from foreign countries, and so typically it's going to be a couple Americans maybe, and then mostly that national country. Uh, what are your feelings? I'm trying to figure out what are your feelings now about what is going on, and have you had a chance to talk to any of your former teammates?
Well, I haven't really talked to any of my teammates, but I'm seeing that a lot of them are transferring out of Ukraine and getting to like France area, Italy area, from what my agency is talking about and getting done for these players. And I'm happy that a lot of these players are doing what they need to do to get out. I didn't think they were going to be able to get out because I thought, you know, if you were above the age limit of 18, you would have to fight in a war, and I was scared for them every day. Um, but just to get that feel of playing with them and playing in that league and everything like that, I just felt like it was just great. The Ukrainian game is a fast paced game, so um, it was just tough that I couldn't finish out the season with these guys, the other guys. I knew that I had a challenge ahead of me. We were just getting ourselves together, and it's always hard when you're leaving that brotherly bond, no matter where you go, but especially Ukraine, just because of what happened with the war and everything like that. Don't understand what the war was for. I know they were beefing for a little bit now, but it never got to that extent that it was going to be a war, and that's the reason why I was coming back. I heard about it possibly being a possibility of war before I left, but I had been there 2 other prior years, and they had been doing the same thing, and nothing has happened. And for it to happen now, my third season in Ukraine, just like again, don't understand it, um, and especially so late in the season. It just kind of threw everything off. But everything happens for a reason, I believe in. And, I'm just glad people are, saying the people that I know are safe.
Yeah. So it sounds like, it. I don't want to put words in your mouth. It sounds like you knew some things were happening, but you never really think that it's going to happen until it does. Walk me through, if you're okay with it. Walk me through your emotions and your thoughts as those first couple of days getting into that situation were kind of happening. What were you thinking? Um, what were you what were your feelings?
I mean, I was just upset more than anything. It's just one thing to be in something and be able to get out, but I wasn't able to get out right when things were happening, and I was scared every single day of my life. Having to go in the bomb shelter, having to come out of the bomb shelter, go in my apartment, feeling like I was about to leave and then something will happen and I can't leave, or a siren go off and then everybody got to get back in the house because we don't know what's going on. Um, the way everything was just cut off at night when all the lights were cut off at night because of the martial law rule, and I had to keep my lights off because you just don't want to get shot or anything like that, having the lights on and stuff. It was a lot going on, and it was frustrating because all I wanted to do was play basketball and be able to feed my family and take care of, my family on the opposite
Hmm.
end, but knowing that I can't do that. And it was tough. It was tough. Again, me being the last American out, maybe even more tougher than not really have nobody here. Um, and got out really, just off the strength of I had a couple coaches here that kept me poised and, kept me safe and sound when need be. And um it was by the grace of God, my assistant coach wife and sister was leaving the country. Leaving the country the same day and trying to get to the Moldavian border. And it was by the grace of God that Coach Parker had. um, former Green Beret Eric Norberg on call, really to get me out, of that situation. Oh, he was just taking me through everything that I needed to do to get out and all the different options that I had to get out and everything like that. So, you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what it may take for you to do what you need to do. So that's why I never take anything for granted.
Yeah, that is. I cannot imagine going through what you went through with that. When I was doing some research, it looked like you'd even spent like 8 or 9 hours in the immigration
Hmm.
line once you got to the border. So uh, once you kind of got out of Kiev and you're out of the main area, at what point do you start feeling like I'm gonna get a chance to go home, or do you when I mean, or do you not feel that way until you get on the plane that's literally headed towards America?
I mean, honestly, I think right when I got out of the Moldavian borders, when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get home. I'm done with the Ukrainian war. I'm done feeling that way. And when I got to Romania, I had already played there the last year in style Bucharest, and I went back to Bucharest and met up with ET. He's playing for a team in Bucharest, and it was good to see him before I left. But not gonna lie, like right when I got out of that border, I just felt so safe and sound. I mean, not saying that nothing can happen on the other side of the border, but um, just to be out of Ukraine at that point in time just made me so happy, and I was happy to get home.
Yeah, and was it? I mean, the way I think about it is, was it kind of like night and day the difference between just the two borders? You're in Romania, and did it feel like obviously you know what's going on in Ukraine, but it was it a completely different environment or atmosphere than what was in Ukraine, even just miles away?
Yeah, I mean, you just felt like everything was at peace. And when you was in Ukraine, when I was in that line for 9 hours, I still felt like I was not at peace. Still felt like I was hopeless, just because I'm not. Even though we at the border, you're still part of Ukraine. So you get across the border, and anything could have happened while I was in that line. Anything, and for me to touch base and get out and get in that van with my bags and stuff like that and everything, it just made me so happy. And I had called my mom and told her that I was safe and sound and everything. And, it was pretty good to feel like I was at home, even though I wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. And so now you are home again. Glad you're able to be here. Glad you're able to be back in the states, and you signed with the Medora Timberjacks. Um, what's next for you? So you're gonna be playing the Timberjacks now. What's your plan for next year and beyond from a basketball perspective?
I mean, we never know. I haven't really made up my mind if I want to go back overseas, if I don't. Um, haven't really touched that aspect yet. A lot of people have been asking me the same thing, and I just tell them the same thing. I don't know yet, because when you go through something like that, traumatically like that, it kind of messes with your brain. I'm not saying I got PTSD or anything like that, but you get this thought like, do I even want to put myself in that predicament? You know what I mean? We don't know. The war is still going on right now. We don't know what he's gonna do and how he can contaminate even other parts of Europe. You know what I mean? Just off the things that he wants to do. So for me, I just feel like I would rather right now be safe and sound in the states than try my luck overseas somewhere else as of right now. And that's why I picked the Medora Timberjacks, because I definitely had other offers to go somewhere else and overseas, but I just felt like for me, I wasn't ready mentally or physically to just go over there and play overseas again. I think I would be thinking about too much over there more than my job, and when that happens, it can affect your job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope you know. Good on you for being able to make the decision that's probably better for your mental health and well being than trying to take another opportunity in Europe, knowing that maybe that spot comes next year, or who knows. But good on you for being able to make that decision. That's a tough decision to definitely make. Um, so let's turn our attention to a few other things, maybe not basketball. What does life look like for you after basketball?
For me, I just want to be able to get everything going as far as like my brand and everything. I haven't really started no branding yet, but I think I want to do it after this year. Um, want to get everything into play. I like clothes. I like what like I could see myself producing clothes for men and women. I can see myself being a trainer. I wanted to get another gym. I want to get a gym. That's one thing I want to do. I want to build a gym where from scratch, and um, I also think I could be a coach. So I have options and plans, but I don't know what the destination is for me yet.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the fun is the journey. So, in regards to the clothes, I got to ask you, what type of style would you prefer to make, or is there any particular style, or what would you be getting into there?
I'm more so into like sweats and like compressions. That's one thing I love most. Um, Sweats because it's just the feel of what I'm saying, having a sweater on or sweatpants on or stuff like that. And now that you know the culture is upgrading every year that it comes out, or like t-shirts and stuff, like
Yeah,
hats, everything. So I mean, it's just something that I'm willing to make and willing to get into. I like different types of styles, so it's just something that I'm thinking about right now. It hasn't been put into play yet, or
yeah.
really actually thought about and what will be on it. But um, when it gets there, I know it'd be great.
I can certainly appreciate that. I mean, I'm rocking a sweatshirt right now, and I got sweatpants on. And if I can find a way to wear comfy clothes wherever I go, you better believe I am doing. I'm actually going to a wedding this weekend, and I was upset to know that I need to wear nice clothes on a Friday night for this
Mhm.
rehearsal thing. So thankfully, I got these pants that basically feel like sweatpants. So it'll be nice. Enough about me though. Going into, I want to talk a little about your gym. So obviously, I know you haven't built out like a business plan and stuff for it yet, but what type of gym would you want to do? There's so many different variations of a gym. What is kind of your idea or theme for it?
Well, I just wanted to, what I'm saying, get like a two-sided gym, like basically a side for the WNBA and a side for the NBA, a basketball gym, and then probably have like, what I'm saying, a nice little weight room, whatever conditioning room and stuff like that. Probably put like a massage therapist in it or a chiropractor therapist in it. What I'm saying, just for people that who need it. Probably put a sauna, hot tub in it, stuff like that. What I'm saying, things that people actually need. And it's just for me playing overseas and playing a lot of years of basketball. These are the things that I was thinking about that we needed. What I'm saying, we have certain stuff, what I'm saying, certain places, but at the same time, when you overseas, you don't really have the stuff. You have to find your way of making a way. And learning all that, I thought about putting that stuff in my gym. Like, hey, I got everything. I don't
Hmm.
just have one aspect of something, or I don't just have a gym where you got to work out. Hey, I got after you work out, you recover. Or I got trainers in there that what I'm saying, I can pay, recover, make sure he's recovering the right way and keeping his body right, because nobody was doing that for me. You know what I mean? Like, then that's probably, I'm not saying nobody did it for me, but I took it more seriously after I got hurt than anything. You know what I mean? I stretched majority of my time. I iced down my ankles and stuff like that, my knees and everything else. When you finish working out, you get right into icing down every day and stuff like that. These are the things young people don't think about now, but because the game is so evolving every day, now this is what people need to be thinking about for their kids.
Yeah, I don't think people realize just how important recovery work is. I can definitely understand and empathize with that. In my early 20s, I didn't know what foam rolling was. And now, if I don't foam roll, I can't get out of bed without throwing my back out. Right. So
Mhm.
there's, you don't realize how important some of those pieces can be. So I want to get into a few superlatives and we'll close out the show. But my last question for you is what are you hoping to accomplish with Sideline Cancer this year?
Just winning the championship. I feel like Sideline Cancer is one of them teams. We got so close when we played the Golden Eagles. It still is in the back of our minds. I know it every single day, but it's to bring a championship home to this organization. I feel like this organization is so good. If it's us, if it's AAU, if it's having a function for people, you know what I'm saying, to meet people or anything like that, is just so family oriented that it would just be great that we can get one of the championships home to us.
Definitely. So let's get into those superlatives. I'm just going to ask you a few very lighthearted questions. Who or what is your favorite superhero?
Man, I would have to say Batman.
I love it. Have you seen the new Batman?
I haven't yet, but I will most
All right. Who
definitely.
is your favorite Batman?
Ooh, I can't really say, man. I like them all. I like them all.
That's
Like,
fair. Dude, the new Batman, it's very interesting seeing former Twilight guy take over Batman, but he did a pretty solid job in my opinion. So I think you'll enjoy it. What is your favorite song to listen to before you either go to the gym or play a game
um,
or musician?
whew.
These are the tough hidden questions now.
These are the tough. But I'm more so of a instrumental guy. So I listen to the Transformers instrumental. Yeah, a lot of people don't like, they don't know it, but if you hear it, it gets you pumped. Like to
I
do
love
what you
that.
need to do.
Yeah, love that, man. And what is your favorite non-basketball activity?
I play video games a lot.
What's your favorite video game?
I play 2K a lot. I play 2K a lot for sure.
Okay, and what team are you? You probably weren't expecting this kind of grilling, but what team do you play on in 2K?
It depends. I'm more of a matchup guy, but with my friends, we play in the park a lot or the rec a lot. So we
Okay,
play with our person, and then we just form a team up, and we usually play like that for the most part.
nice. And what is your favorite food item or restaurant?
I'm a pasta guy, and I would say I love carbonara from Vapiano's.
Okay. And my final question for you on the pasta theme on unintentionally, do you like pineapple on your pizza?
I do love it.
You love pineapple on your pizza. All
Yep.
right, I love that. Well, Mo, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us. This would be great for the fans of Sideline Cancer, the fans of TBT, and the fans of Indiana, George Washington basketball, and of you, Mo Creek. Anything you want to say before we close out the show?
I just want to thank everybody that have reached out, have touched bases with me since I've been back home. Definitely wouldn't have been able to get back home without anybody. I mean, everybody. And I feel like I'm grateful that, a lot of people have taken the time out of their day to make sure that I was straight, make sure everything was good with me. People who've, donated to try to help me out, through my situation and everything like that. And everything that they did to support me and my family, I really do appreciate. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you, Mo, for jumping on. Have a fantastic day. Good luck. I think you have a game tonight, right?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay. Good luck in your game tomorrow night, and we'll be rooting for you when you take the court for Sideline Cancer, buddy.
I appreciate you.
All right, see you, man.